home and the body meditation. There's a motorcycle. Okay. Hello, collective. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoatsecrets. Okay. Hi, collective. So I'm Kristen, and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of the Leo-Capricorn dynamic and, I guess, my interpretation of it. If at any point you resonate with me and would like to become a client, you can join my client circle here. And yeah, I welcome you. And also, I am a global citizen, so for those of you who have not been here before, let me know where you're listening from and we can all connect on a worldly and global level. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. Okay, collective, so let's talk about the Leo-Capricorn dynamic. These two are an interesting pair that is very both explosive and yet still very stable. Yeah, explosive and stable is how I would describe them. They can be a power couple for sure. So a big power couple energy with these two, and a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, but a lot of practical goal reaching, and a very kind of like living the good life kind of energy is something that these two tend to do together. So it's equal parts fire and passion, and equal parts stability and wealth and peace of mind, interestingly enough. So let's, and as contradictory as that sounds, especially because we don't attribute those traits to Leo traditionally, you know. We attribute them mostly to Capricorn, but that's the thing about these two when they get together. Inside of every Leo is the ability to become kind of like an awakened Taurus in a sense. Like when in Leo ages, they tend to really value practical means. They usually become more mature and more on the serious side, and much more Taurian. Their energy tends to come off kind of Taurian. So that's a part of the energy that gets invoked when these two get together. The Leo takes on a more mature energy with the Capricorn and enjoys the places that Capricorn takes them, because Capricorn is cardinal here. And so Capricorn is the leader between these two. Even if the Capricorn comes off passive, because in almost every single one of these combinations, the Capricorn takes a more passive role, allowing the sun to kind of be the sun, while Capricorn is, you know, in the back being Saturn, you know. But Capricorn is leading the dynamic and is kind of the manager who is pretty much taking care of everything, but allows Leo to be the center of attention. And this is across the board, I would say both. If the Leo is a woman or a man, and if the Capricorn is a woman or a man, the two tend to be like this. The Capricorn will play a background role and let Leo shine, even if the Capricorn is the one doing everything. And usually between these two, that tends to be what makes the Capricorn happier. The Capricorn does not mind sacrificing for the Leo and putting themselves kind of, again, in the background, because to Capricorn learns pretty early that Leo needs a lot of attention. And Capricorn can't always deliver that amount of attention, because Capricorn needs to have their own individualistic space. At some point, Capricorn tends to be very free-spirited and needs independence in some way, shape, or form. And Leo, when it comes to Capricorn at least, Leo tends to really crave Capricorn's attention and Capricorn's approval a lot, as well as Capricorn's appreciation. Whereas with other signs, Leo can be more hands-off. I would say like the Leo-Aries combination, Leo tends to not value Aries attention as much. The Leo-Aries combination can find Leo kind of backing off of Aries a little bit, wanting a little bit more space. The fire signs in general, Leo can Whereas with Sagittarius, it's not to say that Leo doesn't want Sagittarius's attention. It's just Leo can be more independent of Sagittarius. But when it comes to the Capricorn-Leo dynamic, similar to the Scorpio-Leo dynamic, Leo really, really values Capricorn's attention, Capricorn's approval. It makes Leo feel validated. So whereas Leo usually doesn't let other signs of the zodiac validate them, Leo definitely lets a Capricorn validate them. There's something about the way Capricorn carries themselves. The beauty of Capricorn, how beautiful Capricorn is something that Leo also appreciates as well. Where other signs might overlook it, Leo looks at Capricorn like Capricorn is the real deal. Kind of like the way that a lot of signs tend to look at Leo is the way that Leo tends to look at Capricorn, which is kind of funny. Leo sees Capricorn in a very high regard, sees all that Capricorn has going on, Capricorn's looks, Capricorn's attractiveness, Capricorn's ambition, Capricorn's uniqueness as well. Capricorn is very mysterious and multifaceted and deep. And Leo's actually one of the signs that sees that quite naturally. Whereas the other signs tend to look past it, don't understand it, tend to think that Capricorn is cold. Leo sees right into Capricorn and finds Capricorn to be a beautiful mystery that they're interested in unraveling. And then also Capricorn's intensity and seriousness is something that Leo values because Leo tends to be in the more shallow world and the leader of the shallow world. Leo values the way Capricorn is very real and very authentic and knows that Capricorn's opinion is more important than anybody else's opinion. Even if no one else understands Capricorn's valuable opinion, a Leo definitely does. So I would say archetypally, it's like everyone can be looking at Leo while Leo's looking at Capricorn, and Capricorn is looking out into the distance because Capricorn is usually off on some other path, I would say. So let's talk about the Capricorn. I made videos about the Capricorn woman and the Capricorn man. The video on the Capricorn man can be found here, and the Capricorn woman can be found here. So from there, let's get into the Leo man. So when the Leo man meets the Capricorn woman, a little background on the Leo man, he tends to come off as a bit of a macho. Even if he looks kind of faint of heart, he can look harmless, all the while being very harmful. So he tends to kind of give off a kind of like a goofy charm to him in a sense, like someone who wants to really be taken seriously but isn't very serious. He's someone that a lot of people know. He has a lot of people's respect as well. He has a image in the world, and he definitely has some kind of status in the world that he doesn't always take so seriously. His whole thing is he takes himself seriously and wants other people to see him that way, whether it's real or not. His background, usually in his youth, he was quite quirky or, again, goofy, didn't really fit in, kind of stood out, but not in a good way. And this made him really passionate about wanting to be the center of attention, wanting to be cool, wanting to be adaptable, wanting to be kind of like that guy. You know, he really wants to be that guy. And this came from his uniqueness and his awkwardness and the ways in which he didn't really fit in. Behind every Leo man is a family that kind of like doesn't really see value in him. They kind of look at him like he's not someone to be taken too seriously, or he's kind of like silly or something like that. That tends to be the case with them when it comes to their humble beginnings, versus when they age. They also tend to have interesting relationships with their fathers as well. These kind of like idealization, but also like a strange love-hate kind of dynamic. And that's the Leo man. So when he connects with the Capricorn woman, what he values in her, usually they meet in a space that is usually something around, not necessarily work, but like it could be meeting in a public place around that narrative. So it could have been like a work event or like a party, big on party. They can meet at like parties. They could also meet at like school events. So if they were both on the same debate team or something like that, or like sports team. If they do meet at school, Capricorn woman is completely ignoring him. But his like eyes are on her, you know. She's kind of like somebody who's more serious and maybe is like, I don't know, in creative writing or something like that, and has these big goals about like writing books. And she's very she could be very popular in school, Capricorn women, but the kind of popular that's antisocial. Whereas he is someone that everybody knows, everyone kind of understands him, could like him, not like him. But he's someone that, again, is popular, but not necessarily seen as serious, right? And so, and this also goes for the workplace. Networking events is usually where they find each other. So yeah, or online. Online is probably a big one when it comes to the Capricorn-Leo dynamic, but the Leo is usually looking at Capricorn more than she is looking at him. And this is where it starts to chase between the two. So Leo men tend to chase Capricorn women a lot. They see her, they have their eyes on her, and they chase her. And Capricorn woman is not used to this. I mean, she has a lot of suitors. Capricorn women tend to have a lot of suitors. But men usually approach... Okay. Capricorn women tend to have a lot of suitors, but men usually approach them in a little bit of a different way. The Leo man really chases her with all of his hunter energy, and she likes this. You know, it makes her feel very feminine. Capricorn women are traditionally quite feminine and value being feminine and feeling feminine. And the Leo man does a really good job at making her feel feminine. And there are many men of the zodiac that like her, that are more on the watery side, the more sensitive side, and they can kind of fall flat for her. The relationships can make sense, but they don't necessarily make her feel as feminine and as docile as the Leo man does. He really puts the dainty in her, you know? And that's a part of the beginning when it comes to the two of them. She is hard to get when it comes to him. She doesn't take him, again, seriously. She feels like she could see right through him. Whatever status or popularity that he has, she could care less. And she kind of looks at him like he could potentially be something that she will regret, I guess. And this becomes the funny, kind of sexy back and forth between them. He's the guy she rolls her eyes at, and she's the woman that he thinks of as more of a wife or like a permanent fixture in his life. There's something about her that makes him want to better himself, be more serious, be more mature. You know, the dreams or the goals that he once had for himself, he sees them through her eyes. He likes the fact that she is not impressed by him, that his normal charms don't work on her, that none of his popularity or status or anything like that means anything to her. She's a very down-to-earth, very grounded woman, but she's also very emotionally complex. And this is one of the sweet spots between the two, because the Leo man, despite the fact that, you know, stereotypically is not known for being the most deep person, he likes to usually keep things on the surface, that it's kind of like his desire to keep things on the surface is a part of why it leaves room for her complexities to reign supreme in that sense, mainly because he doesn't understand her. And so because he doesn't understand her, but he also, because of the way he hunts her, sees her very clearly, you know, even if he can be controlled. The two are controlling. And so the issue is that he could try to, and we'll talk about this later with Leo in general, he could try to turn her into his own idea of his own fantasy and completely disregard who it is that she is. This is something that happens in the beginning, especially because keep in mind when they first meet, and I don't know if I mentioned this, the Leo male has a shallow viewpoint of her. So whether it is just a physical pursuit or whether it is thinking that he's going to kind of get like a wife out of her, that's very easy. He does not understand her initially. Okay, so he sees her more clearly in terms of like the good things about her, but he is controlling the narrative. So, which tends to be classic of Leo. He's seeing her the way he wants to see her and ignoring the parts that he doesn't care for. So as they dive deeper with each other, he learns about her complexities and the depths of her, and because of his masculine energy, he can leave room for it. but he doesn't always understand it. And she kind of dives deeper into her emotional complexity in the relationship with the Leo. And she can dive deeper, I think, into her independence in general, because he is so much him. It leaves room for her to be so much of her. And his masculine energy, again, the hunter, uh, SeaGoat thing that plays out between them is really, really attractive, and also a space where she feels quite safe in. He can create the luxury, like a luxurious life around her, and he wants to shower her with luxuries because he looks at his little Cappy as, you know, an ideal woman in a lot of ways, even if she wasn't initially his ideal woman. He sees her as an ideal woman. So he will do the things that he needs to do in order to create a reality around her. He likes to shower her. He really likes to make her happy, especially because she can be quite serious. So to make her laugh is like the highlight of his day. He enjoys charming her and the classics. You know, he's the type to grab her by the hand and, you know, dance a very slow tango with her. You know, he loves all the romantic things with her, and he really wants to give her the finer things in life. So from there, let's go into the Leo woman. So when she meets the Capricorn man, they usually meet at like a party, again, online. Usually in this case, the Capricorn man is looking at her more than she's looking at him. He usually finds her to be quite attractive, very sexy, but not in a way that is so serious, but more like something that he feels like would be intriguing sexual relationship, or someone that he deems is really hot or something like that. If she is looking at him, she is out for blood, but in a good way, you know. If he's looking at her, like I said, usually he's kind of looking at it in a more shallow sense and thinks of the relationship as something that would be not too deep or not something he would take too seriously. He tends to kind of overlook her a little bit. Versus if she's looking at him, she's got all eyes on him, she's got the biggest crush on him, and she wants him. She tends to like in the Capricorn man something that is a little, again, similar to the Capricorn woman, something that's unique to her. She looks at him like a mystery. She thinks that he would be really sweet to her, really charming to her. He's like the kind of man that can make her feel respected, but he still has like an authority, kind of like daddy energy, you know, and she really, really likes that because the Leo woman wants someone who will be submissive to her, but the Capricorn man comes with submission, but also a backbone. So that is a part of what creates this powerhouse between the two of them, because usually a lot of Capricorn men seek Leo women because they find them to be very, very attractive. But the Capricorn man comes with a level of depth and seriousness that she's not used to. And that's how these two end up in relationships. And usually the Capricorn man tends to be really, really kind of obsessive with her. He can gain like an obsession of her energy. And he likes the way that she can be very strong and very powerful, very ambitious, driven, successful, and how things like success and power and acclaim follow her quite organically. There's a lot of insecurity that can develop in this relationship because the Capricorn man can feel like he doesn't deserve the Leo woman. He can feel like he's not good enough. If you think of the song Creep, I think it's by Radiohead, that's what I think of, you know, not to be cruel, but sometimes that is kind of the energy that Capricorn man can develop with his Leo woman, that song, feeling like he's not good enough or he's not lighthearted enough or something. A lot of insecurities can develop with him when it comes to his relationship with her, whereas she tends to grow a lot through him. She tends to gain a lot of confidence through that relationship. He brings her a depth that she didn't have before. He makes her more serious, makes her look at herself in a higher light. Beauty is another thing that tends to be acquired through this relationship. So the Capricorn man gets with the Leo woman and she becomes more beautiful. She becomes more feminine. She becomes more complex, right? All of his wisdom and his guidance and his depth of character, his own beauty tends to rub off on her, and she cleans herself up in a lot of ways, kind of refines herself a lot more, beautifies herself a lot more, and these two create a really beautiful couple together. The Capricorn woman, Leo man as well can be a very attractive couple, but I would say the beauty tends to be found with the Leo woman Capricorn man dynamic, mainly because the Capricorn man really focuses on wanting to refine the Leo woman, which is a part of his control, wanting to refine her and constantly remind her of how great she is and how talented she is and how she can do anything, and kind of pouring class into her in a lot of ways. And it's not to say that she lacked it, but it's just Leo tends to be a little bit more out there, more like Queen of Wands energy than she is a more like refined energy. And her, when she does lack confidence, it's because of the way she feels about the way she navigates herself in the world. And he comes in and he brings a lot of structure and a lot of refinement, discipline, and also safety and romanticism. He really makes love to the Leo woman in a way that she hasn't been made love to before. She could deal with passive men where they idealize her and kind of fan her, but they're not masculine enough. Whereas in the Capricorn man, she finds a man of yin, right? The man that is opposite of her fiery energy, and she likes that. She tends to, at different points of her life, be drawn to men that are more yin, more of her opposite, more complicated or complex. So she finds that, but she also finds it in someone that's very strong and very masculine and father-like, but he doesn't mind playing a background role and kind of letting her do her own thing. He likes her independence. He doesn't try to control her. He lets her be the Queen of Wands in all of her energy, and he holds down the fort kind of thing, taking care of things on a more practical level. So yeah, so that tends to be the relationship between the two. Again, a lot of passion and sex appeal, which will lead me into, let's talk about the sensual relationship between Capricorn and Leo. So sex-wise, these two have a powerhouse dynamic. And it's mainly because performance is what they do best. Whether they're out in the world performing with each other, meaning, these two step in a room and it's like lights, camera, action, right? They are the power couple that everyone idealizes. Everyone looks at them like, wow, these two are so equally yoked. They're both equally attractive, equally intelligent, equally successful, No, neither one is lacking in any way, which is also why they tend to attract a lot of envy. They can attract a lot of people who try to rip them apart. It's probably one of the biggest things between them is people coming in between these two is a magnet experience for them, is a lot of people wanting to see them separated. Mainly because when they're together, they're very powerful because they're two opposites in a relationship that works, and they know how to complement each other. They know how to work with each other. They know how to allow the other to be independent and be their own person. And this is how these two become such a powerful couple, because neither one is ever trying to dim the other's light or put the other down or trying too hard to merge with each other. It's kind of like, you're going to do your thing and I'm going to do my thing. And that is a part of why they develop and blossom into this powerhouse couple that they tend to be. So then this brings it back to sex and sexuality. The two are really good at satisfying one another. The Leo is a big performer, and the Leo has an insatiable appetite when it comes to their Capricorn. There's something about Capricorns, the two, when they are together, Capricorn again plays a very yin-like role. Leo's opposite energy makes it so that Capricorn can really be in their emotions and be more on the deeper side, because Leo is covering all the yang stuff. Capricorn doesn't feel pressured to have to take on that, being in the world kind of image. Capricorn doesn't, and that's usually what makes Capricorn cold. It makes Capricorn develop a fake kind of rock-like image, is because they're trying to navigate the world, even though they are more yin. So because Leo will do that, it gives Capricorn more room for Capricorn to be more themselves. And so they tend to develop kind of like a moony kind of energy where Leo is very much the sun. So if you ever saw these two together, usually as a couple, you'll literally see the Leo in like brighter colors, and you'll see the Capricorn in more like earthy tones or like, darker tones or something, and the two just work. with that being said, this is what creates like a passionate attachment between the two. So Leo just can't get enough of their Capricorn and how, you know, feminine Capricorn's energy can be, or mysterious, complex, you know, and the submission of Capricorn as well. You know, the way that Capricorn doesn't mind when Leo gets on top in any way, and the way Capricorn has this insatiable appetite and can go, and I mean that in a literal sense, for hours, right? These two can have a very passionate climactic affair, right? Both are really focused on climax when it comes to the other. Both really want to pleasure each other. Leo loves the reactions of Capricorn and how much Capricorn is just kind of in awe of their physique and in awe of their sexiness and things like that. And Leo to Capricorn is in awe of Capricorn's beauty and Capricorn's depth and the way that Capricorn does all these passionate and intense things, but in a way that is still very romantic and loving and physical and earthy in that sense. So very passionate affair, very powerful between the two. And they usually get along really, really well in the sex department. That is until Leo, I would say, can lose their luster, right? So Leos in general tend to, you know, what you see is what you get with a Leo, and that can become something a little frustrating to the Capricorn, or oddly enough, in this pair, the Capricorn can become more bored with the Leo than the Leo is with the Capricorn. Mainly because Capricorn can want to live a boring life, but it's because Capricorn tends to be really complex internally, where Leo tends to be complex in terms of, I wouldn't say complex, but vibrant in the way they show up in the world, but at their bare bones, they're very simple people, and that's where these two can run into conflicts. And then sexually, the conflict can be just Capricorn really wanting Leo to not perform as much and wanting to have more of a raw, deeper attachment or sexual dynamic. It can feel like Capricorn's trying to pull Leo into what's more real or what's more felt, where Leo can kind of just be in the performance world and like sex for the attention, basically. So to dive deeper into some of their conflicts, number one would be attention. Leo has a deep need for attention, and that can be the death of their, I would say a few things can be the death of their relationship. Number one, like I was just saying, sorry, is Leo's need for attention. Capricorn cannot necessarily deliver the amount of attention that a Leo needs. Capricorn likes to be independent. Capricorn likes to be their own person. When with Leo, Capricorn feels more separated from Leo, whereas with other signs, Capricorn feels closer, like with Virgo. Virgo and Capricorn develop this beautiful, deep, more close kind of connection, which is the next video. But with Leo and Capricorn, Capricorn tends to feel more separated from Leo. And it doesn't bother Capricorn at all. Capricorn adapts to this, but this becomes a problem for Leo, who constantly needs attention, especially from Capricorn. When Leo is with other signs, Leo does not feel as insecure as they do with Capricorn. Capricorn tends to kind of unearth a lot of insecurities in Leo, and Leo feels at times that they're not good enough for Capricorn, or they're not refined enough, or they're not doing enough, they're not grounded enough. And this tends to create a major wedge between them, because where there is insecurity, there's a very unhappy Leo. And Leo needs confidence. Leo needs to be praised. Leo needs a lot of attention. Leo looks to their relationship for that validation. And Capricorn just cannot always deliver. Capricorn does not always want to deliver. Capricorn just can run into issues where they don't necessarily understand why Leo needs so much attention, because Capricorn can feel like, oh, okay, well, Capricorn can create a foundation so that Leo can be on stage, literally. Capricorn can manage Leo's entire career. Capricorn can praise Leo behind closed doors. You know, Capricorn can like build all of these things or do all of these things to try to give Leo what Leo needs. But the problem is Leo, a lot of the time at its bare bones, just needs just simple attention. And Capricorn doesn't always understand that. And then also, Leo tends to want, like I keep saying, more attention from Capricorn than it normally would from other people. So that's the biggest wedge, because it's a little bit of an imbalance, because again, yes, Leo needs a lot of attention, but because of the way Capricorn's energy is, it's a need for too much attention from Capricorn in specific, because Leo doesn't feel as stable on their own in comparison to the Capricorn. Whereas Leo with like an Aries or, air signs, for example, Leo feels more secure in the relationship because they're praised in a way that is more natural or more obvious. Like, it's clear that the other sign sees Leo in a certain way, and that's good enough for Leo. Whereas with Capricorn, Leo's like constantly pulling and constantly craving at Capricorn's attention, and it just creates a explosive dynamic between the two. So that, I would say, is a problem. Another thing as well is control. So Capricorn tends to want to control the world around them. Leo tends to want to control people. And so because Leo's desire to control people creates a huge issue in the Capricorn's life, because Capricorn, because of their love for Leo, can allow Leo to control them beyond their comfort level, but only to a certain extent. Capricorn at some point is going to push back. And when a Capricorn pushes back, they push back hard. Like when the devil gets angry, right? Because a Capricorn can be very mellow, especially in a relationship with a Leo. A Capricorn takes on a more background role, right? So Capricorn tends to be more relaxed in the relationship, but Leo can be a pusher. Leo can push the boundaries because they're fire at the end of the day. And a part of what makes their relationship work is when Leo is, more of a fire sign that has more of a Taurian like energy, like I said. But when the Leo is just the Leo, the Leo can walk all over their Capricorn. The Leo can push Capricorn beyond their limits and kind of just press at them, which tends to create a very bad situation, because a Capricorn, kind of like what I was saying in the Aries video, when a Capricorn is pushed too far, there's no coming back from that. If a Leo, the Leo, because of the way the Capricorn's energy is, Leo feels very secure in the relationship. So a Leo gets used to pushing, gets used to kind of like acting out, honestly, acting kind of in a way that they wouldn't normally with the other signs. So like I was saying, when a Leo is in a relationship with like an Aries or like an air sign, a Leo takes on a more mature role. Is when Leo is angry, Leo doesn't always mean it. Leo can get really explosive, really angry, and it's just a mode of expression. They can do very crazy, unforgivable to a Capricorn kind of things, but to the Leo, it was just a moment in time, or it was just them kind of acting out, and they, go to their little Cappy, well, kind of big Cappy in a sense, because between Leo and Capricorn, the Capricorn has a big energy, even if the Capricorn is physically smaller. So the Leo will run, like a little cat, run to their Capricorn asking for forgiveness, and the Capricorn will kind of be done with it, to be honest. And that tends to be their biggest demise, because when the Capricorn is pushed too far, the Capricorn, just similar to what happens with Sagittarius and Capricorn, the Capricorn is done. And once the Capricorn is done, the Capricorn is finished. And for Leo, it's really hard, because the little cat, likes to be forgiven and likes to kind of not dwell on the moments when they act out, but for Capricorn, if they were pushed too far, the devil gets angry, and when the devil gets angry, the devil can be very unforgiving, unyielding, and that's kind of just it, and when it's it, that's it. And it can cause major problems, like I was saying, because the Leo wants Capricorn's attention, craves Capricorn's energy, and when a Capricorn shuts the door, the Capricorn is never opening it again. And that can be very sad and very difficult for the Leo to cope with. So yeah, so I would say that tends to be the end of them, is when Leo takes things too far. I would say the last thing is Capricorn putting out Leo's fire. So the control issue is the number one problem between them. The last thing in terms of Capricorn putting out Leo's fire is, I would say, the second to biggest issue. So Leo is Leo. Leo is a fire sign, and Leo can be practical and grounded, but at the end of the day, Leo needs to be Leo. You know, they need to have that fire. And a Capricorn can completely put out Leo's fire, especially being the SeaGoat, right? So Leo can want to do certain things or desire certain things that to the Capricorn, especially if they've built a life together, the Capricorn doesn't always understand Leo's need for attention or to kind of be silly or to kind of do like regrettable things, you know what I mean? Like the Leo kind of just needs that. And the Capricorn doesn't always understand that. And the Capricorn will either on purpose or either accidentally put out a Leo's fire, you know, and the more, and Leo can tolerate this and see it as refinement, you know, okay, maybe my fire needs to be put out, maybe it needs to be tamed, you know? So this will happen for so long until the Leo gets to a point where they can't take that anymore. And then that's when all hell breaks loose. And the reason why I wouldn't say this can be the end of the relationship is mainly because Leo will be adaptable. So Leo will become explosive, will do impulsive things. When the Leo can't take their fire being put out anymore, this is when they take their flame and they amplify it, right? And they surround the room with their fire. And then the Capricorn will get burned. The Capricorn will be, you know, like a forest fire, right? The Capricorn will be submerged in fire. And this is kind of the Leo's way of making up for what it is that they feel like they've lost, right? So, but the thing about this is when this happens, the Leo will explain themselves usually. Capricorn, if Capricorn is open to the forgiveness, mainly because Capricorn will, no matter what the Leo does in a moment like that, usually the Capricorn will be forgiving, even if Leo crossed the line, mainly because the Capricorn will understand that the Leo was acting out because of the Capricorn putting out their fire or trying too hard to tame them, and the Leo needed to get this out. So it doesn't usually end them, but it causes major, major fights, major explosive kind of world shaking, because these two can be volcanic, you know, so explosive, huge fights between the two. The two in general tend to have, again, live a very peaceful and luxurious life together, but then when they fight, they can fight very, very hard. And when it comes time to do things together, sometimes it can be like there isn't enough space in the room for the two of them to shine the way that they do. Especially because the two pour so much empowerment into each other. So I would say to get into what heals this relationship, if the Capricorn and Leo want to make things work, number one thing is continue to give each other independence. Independence is important for these two. The Leo needs to live their own life, and the Capricorn needs to live their own life. Leo cannot control the way Capricorn lives, and the problem is Leo oftentimes tries to cross that boundary, mainly because Capricorn can be so subdued and so reserved that the Leo can think that they can cross that boundary, and they cannot, and it's not smart. And the Capricorn, if the Capricorn tries too hard to control what happens around Leo, Leo will push back and it will be explosive. So give each other independence, let each other live, have your own hobbies, have your own life, and then obviously ground yourselves in the home because you two work really, really well together in the home sector in terms of what you build together, in terms of what you create together, your finances, different things like that. So focus on that, focus on the beauty of your home, and then go out into the world and have your independent careers and your independent lives, and then circle back together. Number two, do not let other people get in between the two of you. that's my goodness, I think I talked about this with Taurus, but like really, really important, because what rips you guys apart is other people. You guys tend to attract a lot of envy, a lot of, because you're opposites. So you guys both have crowds in your own way. So your crowd and the other one's crowd can want to conflict with one another, fight with one another, especially for you, Leo, because your crowd tends to be very possessive over you, whereas Capricorn, your crowd tends to have a little bit more distance. if you guys let people bleed into your relationship, they will rip you apart. And they will rip you apart due strictly to not wanting to see two of you in the same light together. Because you shine so brightly together that you're better together than you are apart, right? If you want to be together, you're better together than you are apart. So remember that. Don't let other people get in your head. Don't let other people manipulate you guys into believing incorrect things about the other. Be very careful to set boundaries. Capricorn, you understand this better than Leo. Again, the relationship that's coming after this is the Virgo Capricorn relationship. And in that relationship, that happens a lot, being able to set strong boundaries and that being the core of the relationship. That's really important for you guys to do here. Leo, you need to understand that you need boundaries in your relationship with the Capricorn, because the people around you guys want what it is that you have, whether you realize it or not, Leo. The Capricorn is equally yoked to you, and that can really rub a lot of people in your life the wrong way who want your spotlight to just be just on you. And it's not always because they just care about you. A lot of the time, it's because they don't want to see the two of you together, you know, because when you shine, you guys shine bright and you're both powerful. You're both equally yoked. Neither one of you is missing anything. And that can be a hard pill for other people to swallow, to compete with a couple like that. So don't let in envy. Don't let in jealousy. You're stronger together. You're a beautiful couple when you guys shine brightly together. Another thing as well is communication. Keep the communication open, keep it constant, keep it going. I think this couple does really well in marriage. And so I would say counseling, like couples counseling is good, like a couples therapist is good to keep, to get out whatever's going on between the two of you. Because communication can be an issue if Leo is trying to be on the more immature side, or Leo cares too much about Capricorn's opinion to a point where it makes Leo insecure, and Leo hides a lot and represses a lot until they get explosive. So again, having mediators, good, healthy mediators that actually want to see you guys flourish. Yeah, and another thing as well, sex is great for the two of you, and it can heal a lot of conflicts and power struggles. You can heal your power struggles through your beautiful, intimate relationship with one another. Have fun with it, get deep with each other. You continue to beautify each other, because you guys tend to see the beauty in one another and want to bring that out, and that's really great as well. So yeah, and then yeah, that's kind of, and control wise, because you both need control. So I would say let the roles be as they are. You know, if Leo wants to control the internal, because Leo likes to control people, so let Leo take control on the internal, and Capricorn, you take control on the external, and you guys kind of do your own thing and then meet in the middle, right? But in general, this is a great couple. You guys tend to find each other a lot. Leo, Capricorn tends to find each other a lot. Leo represents Capricorn's 8th house. So with that being said, Capricorn, it's important to prepare yourself for the Leo relationship, because your 8th house is a dark place for you, which is why Leo can feel so good to you, because it can feel like it's clearing out your 8th house. So a lot of karma can find you in this relationship, good karma and bad. So be prepared for that. Be vocal, say how you feel. Don't put yourself in the background. Shine next to your partner, not necessarily behind them or in front of them. Again, you guys are better equally yoked than you are trying to one-up one another. So yeah, great combination, and that's my opinion about it. Next up will be the Capricorn Virgo video. So yeah, I love you.